This idea of having power over our addiction or not, kind of choosing what here or there. There are times that we do not, that we are in the midst of a relapse or the midst of engaging and we're kind of out of our minds. We're kind of on the drug, kind of the dopamine high, whatever you want to call it, whatever is going on at that particular moment, and you're kind of disconnected with your ability to choose. But that's not to say you are powerless over all of the addiction. You cannot make changes. In these moments, I like to kind of reflect on the Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr. And it's kind of the idea of God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So again, this idea of, hey, there are things I can make changes on, and then there are things I just have to let go of. Things that I can't control, I can't influence, I just have to acknowledge it is what it is. And I think in general, let's say within a pornography addiction, there's pornography out there. There's very little we can do to control or change or get rid of it. Even people who are victims of kind of like revenge porn or stuff like that, like it takes a very lot of work to kind of get their videos removed because it was put up without their permission. And even after they remove it, other people just put it right back up, and then it's this whole process. So kind of that pornography exists in this world, but there are these sexual influences to try and bring people in and influence us and make us view or get us to view and look up and buy into their narrative. There's things that we cannot control, and we need to be able to accept, okay, there's things outside of my control. The idea that there are no filters out there that are perfect 100%, that will kind of block everything that's on the internet. There's not. You have to accept, okay, there are some things I cannot control. But there are things that we can. We can choose where we go, what we do, what we are looking at in general, and we can choose how we react and respond to different triggers and issues and things. We can choose what we're thinking about and how we think about those things, and kind of filter through and weed out the crap and the other stuff that just naturally starts coming in. We choose how we respond, we choose how we act, we choose how we behave at the beginning, right? And so again, we go down this path and we lose that. And so through prayer and meditation, just like in the Serenity Prayer, asking for God's help to understand and the wisdom to understand what do I need to let go of and what do I actually need to take control of is very important. As you write today, I encourage you to write out the things. What are things within my control? What are some things I can make changes on? And what are some things I need to accept that I cannot control? I cannot control other people. I cannot control all the materials out there. And looking at what can you control within your environment, within your scope of influence and power, and journaling about that. Because in this list, kind of focusing your efforts on the things that are within your control will help you know what to sacrifice and what not to sacrifice, where to prioritize things and where to kind of just let it go. I also like the rest of his prayer. So a lot of times we focus on that first little paragraph, but then there's a little bit more. I'm going to read that to you. It says, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as he did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever in the next. Amen. What I really like about this is kind of it's a process. There are things throughout life that we're going to have to learn and grow and kind of come to accept in the terms of we might not have supreme happiness all in this life. We might not reach perfection here and a perfectly happy, calm, peaceful life, because through those trials, through those tribulations, through our kind of tests, we develop, we grow, we learn. And if we can take in what is happening to us and what's going on in our lives and turn it into a life lesson, into a lesson learned, into something we can change and adjust and move forward in, the fact that we're going to suffer in this life is a part of life. How we respond to that suffering, how we use that suffering changes everything. I encourage you to take this prayer, this Serenity Prayer, into your heart and think about, okay, what do I need to have? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to take control of? And how can I just view this life as it is and not how I would want it to be? How is it, and how can I get to where I want to be who I want to become, and balance all these different ideas into something that's functional, something that is motivating, something that is encouraging and exciting. Through prayer, meditation, and writing, you can find the actions you need to take and do it.